He reached the porch and flung the front door open, the very thought of Steve making him feel caged in and restless. And unfortunately, he's right about us not knowing for sure where we're going. That doesn't mean we can stay here and just wait. Like rabbits, sinking back into the shadows, hoping the coyote can't see us or might decide we're not worth the time. We have something those bikers want. We piss them off by taking it, and then we piss them off even more by keeping it. Even worse, we managed to injure their leader and kill some of their men, and damage their bikes. He gave her a pointed look at that, to which she raised her eyebrows in a, "Who, me? I was just saving your life," sort of way. And he really did have to give her that one, because she had. That didn't change his point, though. We have to get out of town, even if it means just going to another town and starting over. Every town around this one is picked over, so we can't bring in any more supplies, and we're sitting ducks when it comes to the Helen Falls gang. We have more than enough weapons to protect ourselves, but we don't have enough men to fire the weapons we have. I still don't think we have a choice in the matter. Did you make any progress on the plan while I was gone? Alice made a beeline for the kitchen and started rifling through the drawers for the protein bars she knew Garrett sometimes kept. When she found one, she yanked it out of the drawer and took a bite. "Sure I did," she said around a mouthful of chocolate protein. "Christy, old Bubba, and the kids go in the truck. Those are the ones who are either too sick, too weak, or too pregnant to manage on the bikes. Everyone else gets a bike or their own 2 feet. All the supplies go into the truck, obviously, and we fit in as many of the younger kids as we can. There aren't that many of them, so we figure there will be space." She took another bite and chewed before continuing. "Bubba has volunteered to drive the truck, and assuming he can manage to keep his eyes on the road, and Christy doesn't go into premature labor or anything like that, we'll be on our way to a new town this evening." This evening. Garrett almost sighed in relief, but stopped himself. He wasn't going to count these particular chickens until they were well and truly hatched. In another town, and preferably one far, far away. He'd gone out and scouted the cave because he wasn't sure they'd be able to get out of town without a fight from Steve, or before the bikers showed up and made trouble, and he wasn't going to let his guard down on that account quite yet. "Tonight is good," he noted, rooting around in the cupboard for another protein bar. "But we'll want to leave early enough that we don't run the risk of being caught out in the cold. One truck isn't going to hold all of us if the temperature drops, and I don't exactly want to go traipsing into a new town in the middle of the night, expecting a warm welcome." Alice gave him a sharp nod. "We're aiming to leave at 4 p.m. The sun will be on its way down, so we won't have the midday heat anymore, and we can make the walk to the nearest town before it even gets dark. Besides, Bubba, Christy, and the kids may be able to go ahead of us and prepare any people. It's not going to be as dramatic as you're thinking." Garrett found the bar he'd been looking for and took a big bite, barely stopping himself from groaning in delight at the promise of calories. But then he frowned. If the bikers have anyone watching the town, they'll see us parading out of it and go right to cracking. It wasn't the first time he'd thought it. It wouldn't be the first time he and Alice had grappled with this particular problem. It was November now, and the nighttime temperatures were enough to cause extreme discomfort for anyone caught out in the desert without some form of shelter. The days were no better. Even this late in the fall, it was hot on the sand during the day. They'd thought the afternoon would be the safest time to travel, but the light brought an additional danger: visibility. They knew the bikers from Helen Falls were watching them. Even with their bikes disabled, they would have been able to walk to Trinity Ranch. "But they don't have their bikes," Alice reminded him. "It will take ages for any scouts to get back to Helen Falls, and even longer for them to come after us. No matter how angry they are. We've been through this, Garrett. They might see us. It doesn't mean they'll be able to do anything about it." He nodded, processing the information again. It was always the same answer. Disabling the bikes had been the one good thing they'd managed to do on their trip to Helen Falls, and without transportation, the bikers were less of a danger. "If we can get out of here and be far enough away before they get to town," she started. "They'll never see where we've gone," he finished. He took another bite of the protein bar and scowled. "It makes sense. That doesn't mean I like it. Too many places for things to go wrong. Too many places to lose people. More people." Looking up, he gave her a grin. "Guess that just means we'll have to be even craftier than those bikers, if it comes down to it." Craftier than the bikers. He wasn't sure it was possible. He also knew they didn't have a choice.